Hi students, I am Praveen Sebastian Paul. In this lecture, we are discussing a bipolar junction transistor's basic concept. The bipolar junction transistor, simply BJT, is a semiconductor device which can be used for switching or amplification. Diodes are made up from two pieces of semiconductor material to form a simple PN junction, and we also learned about their properties and characteristics. If we now join together two individual signal diodes back to back, this gives us two PN junction connected together in series, which would share a common positive or negative terminal. The fusion of these two diodes produce a three-layer, two-junction, three-terminal device, forming the basis of bipolar junction transistor, or BJT for a short. The word transistor is a combination of two words, transfer and varistor, which describes their mode of operation way back in their early days of electronic development. There are two basic types of bipolar junction transistors. They are PNP and NPN, which basically describe the physical arrangement of P-type and N-type semiconductor material from which they are made. A bipolar junction transistor is a type of transistor that uses both electrons and electron holes as charge carriers. In contrast, a unipolar transistor, such as a field effect transistor, uses only one kind of charge carrier. A bipolar transistor allows a small current injected at one of its terminals to control a much larger current flowing between two other terminals, making the device capable of amplification or switching. BJTs use two junctions between two semiconductor types. They are N-type and P-type, which are regions in a single crystal of material. The junctions can be made in several different ways, such as changing the doping of semiconductor material as it grown by depositing metal pellet to form alloy junctions, or by such methods as diffusion of N-type and P-type doping substances into the crystal. The superior predictability and performance of junction transistor soon displaced the original point contact transistor. The diffused transistor, along with other components, are elements of integrated circuits for analog and digital functions. Hundreds of bipolar junction transistors can be made in one circuit at very low cost. A bipolar junction transistor, or BJT, is a three-terminal electronic device that amplifies the flow of current. It is a current-controlled device. In bipolar junction transistor, electric current is conducted by both free electrons and holes. Unlike a normal PN junction diode, the transistor has two PN junctions. The bipolar junction transistors are formed by sandwiching either N-type or P-type semiconductor layer between pair of opposite polarity semiconductor layers. The bipolar junction transistors are classified into two types based on their construction. They are NPN transistor and PNP transistor. In an NPN transistor, when a single P-type semiconductor layer is sandwiched between two N-type semiconductor layers, the transistor is said to be an NPN transistor. When a single N-type semiconductor layer is sandwiched between two P-type semiconductor layers, the transistor is said to be a PNP transistor. Both PNP and NPN transistor consist of three terminals. They are emitter, base, and collector terminals. So these are the three terminals. The first one is emitter. As the name suggests, the emitter section supplies the charge carriers. The emitter section is heavily doped so that it can inject a large number of charge carrier into the base. The size of the emitter is always greater than the base. The second terminal, that is a base terminal, the middle layer is called the base. The base of the transistor is very thin as compared to the emitter and collector, and it is also very lightly doped. In the case of a collector terminal, the function of the collector is to collect charge carriers. It is moderately doped, and that is the doping level of the collector section is in between the emitter and the base terminal. The size of the collector is always greater than the emitter and base. The collector area in the transistor is considerably larger than the emitter area. This is because the collector region has to handle more power than the emitter does, and more surface area is required for heat dissipation. In transistor, the amplification is achieved by passing input current from a region of lower resistance to a region of higher resistance. So my dear students, in this lecture we had just introduced what is a bipolar junction transistor. A bipolar junction transistor, or a BJT, is a three-terminal electronic device that amplifies the flow of current. It is a current-controlled device. In a bipolar junction transistor, electric current is controlled by both free electrons and holes, and these bipolar junctions are classified into two types based on their construction. They are NPN and PNP transistor, and in every BJT we can see three different terminals. They are emitter, base, and collector terminal. The major application of these bipolar junction transistors are in all of the major electronic devices. We can see a BJT. Electronic devices such as television, mobile phone, computer, radio transmitter, audio amplifiers, and so on. In every electronic device we can see the BJTs. So my dear students, hope you had understood this concept. So dear students, kindly write down the assignment question. Our question is, write notes on bipolar junction transistor. So my dear students, in the upcoming lecture we will discuss the operation modes of bipolar junction transistor. So my dear students, see you soon. Until then, goodbye, thank you, and all the best.